Welcome to Smut and Sensibility,
a podcast for romance readers and romance writers.
By romance readers and writers.
We are Amber,
Allie,
and Marie,
a group of learned ladies who love talking about the romance genre.
In this podcast, we will talk about our favorite books, writing craft, and how we make room for a creative life in real time.
So buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Well, welcome everyone back to Smut and Sensibility, a podcast for romance readers and writers by romance readers and writers. I'm Allie. I'm a doctor, writer, and after-hours academic studying history at Oxford.
And I'm Amber. I'm a corporate attorney by day and a romance reader and writer by night.
And today we are super excited to have USA Today bestselling author Ellie Palmer in our midst. And later we're going to be talking about her most recent release, Anywhere With You, which is available everywhere now. And we've mentioned this book before on the podcast and our affinity for this one very particular man in a van. And so we cannot wait to talk to the person behind this book. So before we get to shriek about Anywhere With You, we are actually going to do our regularly scheduled book nook, where we talk about what we have read and loved lately.
So I listened to No Matter What by Cara Bastone. And this was narrated by Alex Fink. And so I'll give you the little summary before I give you my review. Roz and Vin can't look at each other in the eyes anymore, let alone share a bed. It's been a year since they survived a life-altering accident, and their marriage hasn't been the same since. But Roz has held out hope that they can fix things until she discovers Vin has signed a new lease. So she does what any soon-to-be divorced Manhattanite would do, sign up for a figure drawing class. Between Roz's determined attempts to improve her artistic skills and her adventures with her best friend Raffi, she can almost ignore Vin's impending move-out date and his footsteps in their previously unoccupied guest room. But it would all be a lot easier if Vin wasn't Raffi's older brother, and if she didn't still find him incredibly attractive and kind. So kind, in fact, that Vin offers to let Roz draw him. What is she supposed to say? It's probably better than her original plan of finding some random male model online, and she needs all the practice she can get. Plus, that's sure to make a separation easier, right? Focus on every detail of your estranged spouse's body while drawing him in the nude. But after
Sounds like
a
good plan.
It does. It really is so good. But after the year they've spent avoiding each other, it feels good to see and be seen by one another again. As Roz works to capture the wholeness of the person she fell in love with, will they both be able to draw upon the feelings they buried deep inside to finally heal together? This was so tender and raw at times. It really had deep emotional responses from me, but in the best way. I don't want to give too much away with the specifics as you learn about the characters and like what they've been through, but they're both trying to identify their traumas and then like how to move through them. So there's really a lot of depth and complexity to these characters and their marriage as well, which I just found really honest representation of life. And marriage isn't always easy and it's hard, and we come as individuals and working together. So I really liked it. To be honest, I almost didn't pick this one up right away because the being a marriage in trouble right now didn't really call out to me with Patrick being overseas and everything that's happening. It's not the vibe for me right now.
Valid.
As you can all imagine, right? Like I've talked about it on here. But I've really enjoyed Cara's other books. So I trusted her and I'm like, you've loved her other books, just dive in. You don't have to think about it. And it didn't disappoint. So it made me laugh out loud. It made me tear up. And it made me staying up way longer than I should on a school night, laying in bed listening to it, thinking it was only like, 10:30. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 11:30. I need to go to bed. And the narrator, Alex's performance was so delightful. Like you just get sucked in and you forget that you're even listening and reading books. I always love being swept away. So this is a really good one. And I would recommend.
Oh, awesome.
Have you guys read any of Cara's stuff before?
I love
haven't.
Cara Bastone.
She's so good.
I love her. I loved, she has this series, Ready or Not, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then Promise Me Sunshine, Now No Matter What. Before that, she had this like other series with that I don't think got as much love that is so good too. There's one that's like Flirting with Forever, where one of the characters is a lawyer. And I feel like it was the most like true to life representation of a public defender I've ever read. And it was just really like light and warm and well done. Like I just really love her writing.
I don't know if I've listened or read to that one with the public defender, if I'm just not thinking of it. So I'm excited to be like, ooh,
Yes.
a secret one I don't know about.
Flirting with Forever.
Flirting with Forever. Okay. But yeah, so now you know the struggle of like the fact that I didn't want to do A Marriage in Trouble, but like if you have an auto author you really like, I'm like, I'm here for you. You can make me read whatever you want.
Take me on a
Yeah, I think
journey.
her Promise Me Sunshine had like I have like one content warning thing in my life where I'm like, I can't do this. And Promise Me Sunshine had it, and I still was like, let's give it a try. Let's
If
give it a
anybody
go.
if anybody can hold me through this, it is
Yeah.
her.
I'm like, we'll figure it out together.
And how did that go? Were we destroyed? Did we make it?
It was, I mean, it was tough at times. So I think it's on the back cover, so this won't be a spoiler, but she's grieving a friend who died of ovarian cancer. I have the BRCA1 gene, which is featured in 4 Weekends and a Funeral. So I have a really hard time reading about ovarian cancer and breast cancer.
Yeah.
I guess unless it's preventative, because that's what I discussed in my book, like preventative
Unless it's
mastectomy.
me and
I
I know
do,
what's happening.
unless I'm doing it, and I know that everyone's gonna. I think that was it. Is like
Mhm.
I need to know everyone's gonna be okay, and we're starting with someone wasn't okay.
Yeah.
Right,
From the
right.
very
Well, that makes
beginning, and
sense.
it's
From the
sad.
very beginning. So that one was tricky, but it was. I mean, she did so beautifully, and it was such a lovely story, and the characters were so wonderful, and it's a lot about like grief and finding your way on the other side of it and community. It was a really lovely one.
Yeah, I agree. All
Love
right,
it.
Ellie, what do you have for us?
So I don't have the physical book because it hasn't come out yet, but it's coming out very soon,
Ooh.
and there's this gorgeous
Ooh.
cover that she's revealed. But it is
Put it
called
here, so we'll be like, here's the picture.
Here it
There
is.
it is. She's
It is-
gorgeous.
She's beautiful. It's Pot Shot by Laura Piper Lee. It is
Ooh.
about two like former high school rivals. She is opening a marijuana dispensary. She has chronic health issues and she uses marijuana to help treat them, and it's been really successful for her and empowering, and she wants to give that to other people. So she is trying to open up a dispensary. And it happens to be right next door to this grumpy, straight-laced doctor who doesn't see the benefits of marijuana, doesn't get it medically. He doesn't agree. And they also are old rivals and maybe old crushes. So it's a bit about like, it was honestly very educational for me. I feel like I learned a lot about medical marijuana uses, like how it can be used medicinally.
Mhm.
I was like, wow, I feel like I've learned a lot. But it also is just like a really just funny Laura Piper Lee. I don't know if you read any of your books. The comedy is so strong, and like her voice is so singular, and she like it's so observational and quippy, and it was just like a really fun read. And the chronic illness representation was really beautifully done. So that was a kind of a nice added layer there too.
That sounds amazing. Almost like a grumpy sunshine situation. Is she more sunshine and he's kind of the grumpy neighbor? Allie.
Yeah, and she's chaotic. So it was like a little bit like straight-laced chaos,
Wild.
demon,
Okay.
like
Okay.
grumpy sunshine. It was like all the things. It was really fun.
Do you feel like you're more to enter a dispensary in Minnesota now? Because they're like popping up everywhere.
I mean, I feel like I know how from this book. I mean, if you're
Maybe
looking
we
to
can
get
have
into
date
a
and
new
you can
business,
help me because I have not been in one yet, but there's one that just popped up like down the street in the city I live in. So maybe you
yeah,
can, with all
I
your
do-
knowledge, we can have a
for
lunch date.
sure. I do feel like I want this fictional person to be a real person, because she's like, one of her like superpowers is she's able to like give people exactly the strain they need. And I'm like, that's what I need. I need like a Sherpa to like help me through.
Yes, because
Yes.
my anxiety is
Yes.
that like I'm finally gonna go in and I want something more like calming and relaxing, and I'm gonna get like the wild trip one, and I am just
Mhm.
gonna feel like I'm dying for 10 hours and then like never want to ever step foot in one again. So
I feel like my fear is I would be deeply paranoid the whole time, because that was my
Same.
experience in my college dabblings
when we were young,
with young, where I was immediately, the anxiety switch inside me goes off, and then I'm like, everyone knows.
I'm gonna get in so much
I'm gonna get in so much trouble
trouble.
at this Passion Pit concert.
Oh my God. Well, that
That
sounds
is
like a really fun premise too. I don't think that I've read anything about like a dispensary or like the medical marijuana industry in romance. So like
Same.
that's fun. I'm
Mhm.
excited to pick that one up. That's awesome.
Love
Yeah,
it.
Pot Shot by Laura Piper Lee.
Pot shot. Do you know when
Okay.
it's coming out? I mean, we'll put it in here, but it's
I
this year.
believe it is mid-May.
Oh, so
Mid-May.
soon.
Okay.
Pretty soon. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll have to keep that on the list. The ever-growing TBR. You know, there's never enough room, but there's always room, you know.
I like a thick
both
girl.
are
I don't like
true.
to restrict her. She can get as long
No.
and wide and just keep
That's
piling
right.
on.
Let her live.
Let her
Yeah,
live her
the stretchy
life.
pants.
Yeah.
All right, Allie, what do
So
you have for us?
yes. So I read Still Into You by Erin Connor. And I think this was her sophomore book. And I actually got this as an advanced listening copy from Forever. And I loved this book. I mentioned this in our podcast newsletter, like our Feel Good February Roundup, link in the bio below if you are interested in more like bonus content and like feel goodness during these times. So we do one every month. But anyway, I loved this book in general. I loved the title. I mean, it's like a Paramore reference, and basically it's a second chance romance, like with a rock star. And it features like a punk rock bad boy in this band called Final Revelations, and like a fledgling music journalist and who had, you know, a relationship a couple of years ago. And it takes place in Cleveland in the early aughts. So I would hesitate to say that, you know, it's historical in any way, because I was very much living my life in the early aughts, but it doesn't take place in present day. So
That hurts, Allie. That
it
hurts.
is really painful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right to the stomach.
Just
Seriously, we
right
haven't even like
to-
gotten into this, and you're like, bring out the canes and the wheelchairs for us. Why don't you?
Exactly. I was like, oh my God. Okay. You know, it's like,
I
this will
already
eventually
ate
be.
myself by saying I went to Passion Pit in college, and now we're doing this.
But I also was like,
Saying
what?
2000s is period piece.
I know. It has its own era. Soon it'll be on like the classic oldies channel. It'll be like 2000s rap or
Stop
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you walk into the grocery stores now and you're like, oh, when did the music get so good? And you're like, no, it's because we're the old demographic that they put the stuff on for. I was like, oh no.
Whenever I hear like party rock, I just know that that I'm old.
Yes.
When they're playing party rock at a grocery store, or like, you know what they're doing to you. They're trying to
that's
get
right.
me bop in my head while I'm looking at the, you know, Cheetos.
And you're like,
That
yeah,
is
you know what?
exactly
I'm
right.
going to take an extra 2-for-1. Thank you. Because I'm just so
Party
happy
rock's
right
in the
now.
house tonight.
Party rocking in
Why don't
the
I grab
house
some, you know,
tonight.
famotidine and some Voltaren gel just while we're at it, you know? The audiobook production was really good. It was narrated mainly by Carissa Vacker, which Ellie, she's done your books as well, and she does such a good job.
I'm a super fan of her.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic. There's also like an ensemble cast in here because there's some interview interstitials, so you get a little bit more of an ensemble performance for certain parts of the book. Which was actually really fun. And I think that added to the enjoyment of the production value as well. But the blurb is, Sloane Donovan dreamed of being a rock journalist ever since she posted her first MySpace blog. Now, one journalism degree, a failed internship, and dozens of backstage passes later, she's struggling to land a full-time staff position. When punk rock's most notorious and elusive frontman offers her his first interview in 8 years, Sloane should be jumping at the opportunity. But taking it would mean reconnecting with the only guy she's ever loved and loss, Dax Nakamura. Unable to pass up a shot at making her name and help Dax clear the reputation that's plagued his, Sloane agrees. It's only a conflict of interest if anyone finds out. But the article Dax wants and the salacious tell-all Sloane's editor is expecting are two completely different stories. And as old feelings resurface, Sloane's journalistic integrity hangs in the balance. This is a career-making piece that she's been waiting for, but it comes with a price, the chance to rewrite the ending with her first and only love. So that was like I said, I loved it. There was a ton of yearning and angst, but it was also very funny and a lot of banter and nostalgia. And it was just like, it was different. And I really enjoyed the flashbacks to essentially like a Warped Tour analog. And there were some plot beats that had me guessing and that I didn't necessarily expect. Because I think, you know, the blurb kind of describes, you know, sort of the tension between like a journalist and their subject and what you kind of think would happen. And there's a little bit of some intrigue and leaks from people that I didn't necessarily expect. So that was really fun. And I will say there is like a little bit of a content warning. There is some reference to prior substance use with the hero. And I thought that Erin handled it very well. I think one of the things that I really get annoyed with is when, there's a depiction of a character with substance use and they're either the villain or it's like a plot device with like no acknowledgement of nuance, essentially. And I do think that it did a really good job with like the realities of substance use in a sensitive way about the person that is going through like that challenging time, but also acknowledging that, somebody in your life that's struggling with substance use is also very challenging, like on you, the outsider, family members. And so I thought that representation was like very good. It was a good part of the character arc and the story. There were also like themes of like youth and fame and career aspirations and like paying your dues and trying to figure out what the hell you want to do with your life and how does that align with what other people expect of you and what you think that you're supposed to do, and maybe something that you wanted isn't actually what you want. And so I think if you like that sort of celebrity romance with that kind of interview moment like Daisy Jones and the Six or Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman, I think that you would really like it. And if you are, still scream singing your pop punk playlist in the car because it definitely wasn't a phase, then this is also for you.
It sounds really good. The fact you said it was inspired by like Paramore, I was like, okay, lovely. Okay. All right. Well, now we're going to go on to our craft corner, our main event, which you've all been waiting for. Thank you so much, Ellie, for being on the podcast. Yay. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Ellie is the author of Anywhere with You and 4 Weekends and a Funeral, and the forthcoming Married with Benefits, out this July. She's the prototypical Midwesterner who routinely apologizes to inanimate objects when she bumps into them. When she's not writing romantic comedies featuring delightfully messy characters, she's at home in Minnesota, eating breakfast food, watching too much reality television, and triple texting her husband about their son. So welcome.
Yay, welcome, Ellie. Thank you so much.
I'm just so excited. Like, scheduling worked out. We finally got you
I know.
on. So your most recent release, Anywhere with You, we have some really great tropes in here. Road trip, forced proximity, friends to lovers. Allie, do you want to read the blurb just for our listeners who haven't read the book or haven't been exposed to it yet?
Absolutely. And we definitely, like I said, we've really enjoyed this book and we talked about it before, but tiny van, enormous feelings. Charlie Beekman is thriving if you overlook that she's financially strapped, stuck in a dull legal career, and the youngest divorcee at the Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. After being left by a man she was sure was too boring to ever leave, she's figured out that the key to true happiness is protecting yourself from surprises. So when her free-spirited sister announces that she's eloping with an on-again, off-again childhood sweetheart, Charlie knows that she has to stop the wedding before her sister makes the biggest mistake of her life. Conveniently, Charlie's best friend, Ethan, who's as gorgeous as he is chronically unreliable, has an extra seat in his camper van. As Charlie and Ethan embark on a wild road trip through the enchanting northern woods of Minnesota, Charlie starts to feel something she's ignored for years, a spark that threatens to turn into a full-blown bonfire. But after crashing and burning at marriage despite her best-laid plans, the last thing Charlie needs is a fling with a non-committal, irresistible, nomadic musician, right?
Or does she?
Or does she?
Ellie, how'd you come up with the idea? Ellie, do you have a scene first in your head? Was it more vague? Was it one of the characters? Like, we're always interested, like, how did the initial idea spark?
So I am a huge reality television watcher, and there was a romance in a show called Bachelor in Paradise that always stuck in my head, and that was between Dean Unglert and I believe her name was Kaylin. I've lost her name for some reason, but basically she's a pageant queen, and he lived in a van and went on Bachelor in Paradise with like a mustache, doing like the long-haired 90s heartthrob thing.
Amazing.
And she's asking him questions. Yes. And she's asking him, like, how do you shower? And he's like, sometimes in a river. And I was like, this is doomed. These two are doomed.
This is doomed from the get-go.
And they're married now. And I'm always shocked to hear that they're married. They're still together. And I'm always shocked to see that like worked out, and that she would go in the van and they would travel together. And then she would bring, they kind of found a way to like work it. Like, they did like the resort thing with her and then the van thing with him. And they became influencers for travel. It just like all worked together. That's just like a pairing that I've never forgotten. And so I've always thought it'd be really fun to have a hero that lived in a van and had this like nomadic lifestyle. And one of my favorite things is to pair people up where, like, on paper, they're each other's worst nightmare. And so let's take a girl who really craves stability and has this trauma from her childhood where she really wants like roots and she wants to be grounded. And let's give her a guy with wanderlust. Who lives in a van. So that was sort of that pairing was the origin.
Can you imagine the producers on that show? I'm just thinking that they're like, oh, this is going to create drama and they're going to clash. And then they end up being like one of the most successful, still married, survived couples.
I can't imagine a single person expected they would still be together. It just like, it was like played for laughs by the editors where it's like, look at these two bozos going off together into the sunset. They're doomed.
He lives in a van
and they made it work.
Is bigger than his van or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. It writes itself. And so then I wrote it.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
Great. I want to know
great.
more.
Yeah. So there was like that concept of that kind of like opposites attract pairing. I always thought would be like a really fun thing to play with. And I was really at the time very interested. I was coming right off writing 4 weekends, which is this very tight timeline. It's 4 weekends and a funeral.
Spoiler alert.
And spoiler alert. The title isn't lying. That's what it is. And I really wanted to play with something that had this really long sweeping I wanted a couple with a lot of history.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that to like kind of tangle together with their current romance. And so that's how I formed this idea of it being like childhood friends to lovers. They're on a road trip in the present, and they've kind of been ships in the night over the years, and we could see through flashbacks the way they almost made it work and then didn't quite, and whether they were going to be able to find a way to make it work together on this road trip.
You did it so beautifully. Sometimes when we do flashbacks, sometimes I like fall in love with one timeline more than the other. Like it just naturally happens. People have their own proclivities, but I'd be like, oh, you'd get me like they'd almost be there in the present. And then like, oh, we're having a flashback. But my mid chapter at the end of that, I'm like, oh, and then it would be back. So I never was really disappointed about one timeline or the other. Because again, you did so good with that yearning and giving us those little glimpses of their past relationship together or the experiences they had and how they grew up. And it was so good.
Thank you. I really loved writing the flashbacks. It was, and I had that same thing where when I'm reading a book with flashbacks, I start to, I ebb and flow as to what I'm most interested in.
Yeah.
And it's usually the one with the most like romantic tension. That's the one I'm like, get back to that one.
I
need it. The thing I did for myself when I was writing to make it really fun to be in the past, beyond just like the yearning. We love a man who yearns.
Do we?
I had this in the present timeline. We have this sister relationship with she's marrying this guy from her past. And so what I really tried to do for myself and for the reader was we get glimpses of that relationship in those past chapters too. So we get a sense of what Charlie is trying to break up. Like, what is she so certain is so wrong about this? And also maybe give a little insight into like, maybe Charlie isn't right about everything.
Right.
Maybe she doesn't know what she doesn't know, and kind of have it be like almost like we're revealing this mystery with this other kind of chaotic couple in the present, and see how they came together and how we're forming our own opinions about that relationship too, kind of playing double duty with those.
Yeah.
You did a really good job with that. I thought I really enjoyed like everything was doing a lot of work. I think it can be really tempting to do a flashback to like explain something, but you did a really good job. Everything did a lot of like double duty of world building, but also like relationship building and just giving you a better contextualization of everything that was happening and why. Random question, but did you sleep in a van to like research for this? Like, did you do any #van life research? Was there a process to that?
I did sleep in a van. I rented a van. I did some #van life research.
Okay.
I discovered that the van life may not be for everyone. It's certainly not for me. It is loud. It's louder than I thought it would be. That was a big part of it.
How many hours into #van life were you starting to have this revelation?
Immediately, I had
5
doubts.
minutes.
I got behind the wheel and I was like, oh, I don't think this is for me.
And I was like, this is going to be so cute. Like, I have a son. I'm like, he was excited by the idea of a van. I'm like, we're going to camp together in the van. It'll be like this formative experience. So beautiful. He immediately is like, I don't care for this.
And you're like, Me too.
And I'm like, well, this is we're making memories, kids, so get over it.
And I already spent money on this van. And
I've
it took
already
time.
put down the deposit.
We're doing this.
Driving that van was so harrowing. Like, I am not built for not being able to see in the periphery. Like, I was not prepared for that aspect of it. Yeah, I very quickly learned, like, this is not a lifestyle I would thrive in. I sort of went in pretty confident because I really, for whatever reason, I love a tiny home.
Yes.
Just every single time we like for my honeymoon,
HGTV, all those shows,
I love
those
it.
commercials,
Tiny House
they got us
Hunters.
in.
Yeah.
for our honeymoon, we went to a resort that had a tiny home that was on Tiny House Hunters. And I was like,
Oh
this
my
is going to
God.
be great. And
Oh
I
my
actually,
God.
and I was like, the whole time, I'm like, could we live in a tiny home? My husband was like, I can barely survive this weekend in this tiny home. And I was convinced we could pack
Do
it
you
all
want
in
our
and live in
marriage
it.
to last, or is
Yeah.
this like the hurrah before it even starts?
We were like hours in, and he was like, I think we need space. Like, that's where we're at. So that was not going to work for the two of us, but I was convinced. So I was kind of cocky going into the van. I was like, I love like feeling like whatever the reverse of claustrophobia is. I'm like, I love a tight space. Like, let's get in there. Let's really make this small van our lives. And no, it was not for me. But
Yeah.
Also, how old
I'm
was
cheering
your,
everyone on
how old
who
was your
does it.
son at the time, if you don't mind me asking? I'm trying to like envision the age.
He was like 4.
Okay.
4 maybe. So I was convinced this would be like our first camping experience, and it did
The
not.
first of many to come.
The first
And
and,
it- no,
last,
it-
perhaps.
First and last. Yeah, it did
Yeah.
not go our way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by like RVing in general, which is, it's similar, but like RVs tend to be a bit bigger than like a van. But I am out on the like the shower toilet in like one thing. Like, I'm out on that. Like, I need my toilet to be separate from,
Where
my
you
tiny
shower.
shower. So like that, I like
Mhm.
that's one of my lines that I have to have.
We have to have hard lines here.
You don't want to
We
like
do.
stand on
Boundaries
the
are
key.
important. Yeah.
Very, very important. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. This was a camping shower in this one. It was a cold camping
boy.
shower. I didn't even
Oh,
try.
boy.
I was like, that's not. By then, I was already out on the whole experience. I certainly wasn't going to shower.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna push me over either way. We could skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few things that like made it into the book where I felt like that experience. So I do have a scene where she uses the cold camping shower because I
Yes.
didn't experience that trauma, so I had to give it to my character.
Here you go, Charlie.
Charlie had to deal with it. I certainly wasn't going to. And there were like a few things with like the experience of trying to like black out curtain at night, and like, there being some like truck light glaring in that you have to block
Yep.
out, and kind of just the experience of it being you're camping but you're not, that kind of in between moment. But I did not give I made them enjoy it, so I didn't have that in. If you love a camper van lifestyle, I think you are going to feel represented in this book.
Yeah, it's not derogatory to van life at all. Yeah.
It makes you want to
It's-
dip your toe.
I admire it.
Yeah,
It does.
really does.
Yeah, absolutely. So, who was your favorite character to write? It sounds like you enjoyed putting Charlie in some situations that you would not prefer to be in with the shower, but who was your favorite to write?
I really loved writing Petey and Laurel. That's the sister and her fiance/husband. I loved how chaotic their dynamic was. And I really loved writing the sister story between the two sisters. I thought that was really fun and lovely. And I just love like the character of Petey. He's so like silly and sweet, and like everything just rolls off of him. And I had a lot of fun with them.
I do have to say the sister dynamic, not to give anything away, but like I felt strongly in the beginning about them both in certain ways in their relationship. And I thought like for sure it wasn't going to move. And then by the end, I feel very differently. So again, with the different flashbacks, doing the work, and you learn a little bit through how they make their choices and what they're doing and kind of how their perspectives switch. It was really good.
I mean, I feel like with siblings in particular, it's that same experience of when you go home for Thanksgiving and you're at your parents' house and you're sleeping in like a twin bed, you're suddenly 16.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I feel like it's like that with siblings too, where the last time we were in a home together, I feel like is the last time we really have this like solidified version of who the other person is. And it changes over time as you experience more and how close you are. But there's something about that dynamic. I feel like there's a part of it that's always cemented right there where if, my sister and I have a large age gap. And so I feel like there's always that bit of like the last time we like lived in a home together, like that dynamic will never fully leave us, like
Yeah.
whatever that is. And so I liked depicting that where it's a little bit of, these are two people that have grown and changed so much, but they keep seeing each other the way that they were.
Yeah, you revert back. And also, too, the way sisters fight, there's a couple points of like, oh, yeah, that's exactly like, right where the weakest spot is. And you can
Yes.
say the quickest little jab with few words to just destroy the other one. Ellie, I'm curious, are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Okay, I'm the youngest too. Allie's the older sister. So
I
we
am
got
the
a
oldest,
little
yes.
representation here.
Yes, yes.
What was there a challenging part of writing this book? I'm sure each book brings out something that's a little different that you were either surprised about or was it harder than you thought it would be?
Yeah, I mean, writing this book was a lesson in tightening. It really was kind of a bloated book at first, and I really had to go back, especially like there were so many flashbacks in the first draft. Like there are many, many flashbacks that hit the cutting room floor. And I really had to learn how to make those, like tighten those plots together so that every scene did more work and that each scene, I couldn't have a scene that developed the sister relationship and then a scene that developed this relationship and then their friendship. They all had to find a way to commingle. And it ended up, there are so many chapters where people have told me like, oh, why don't you like release those in a newsletter? But a lot of those they found their way into another chapter. I just had to figure out like what is the heart of what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
What is the thing that like we cannot lose? And is there a way where I can like bring that in to another point in time? Because I mean, we do so many of this, especially with these friendship relationships, there's like patterns and it's a bit cyclical sometimes. So how can I take something that was going to happen later and make the emotional core of that happen sooner or vice versa?
That's really good advice. It's kind of similar to the I feel like when you have a first draft, you have like 18 side characters that all do like one slightly different thing or have like one slightly different purpose, and you end up combining them into a much smaller number that do more work each time. But so we've talked about like id list before, and you're familiar with like id list stuff, right?
Refresh my memory.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me
Okay.
more.
Tell me more about idless.
It could be like the microist microtrope or macro of like stuff that you love reading. So is it a man that wears like a sweater vest? Is it, the sleeves rolled up? Is it hot cocoa, like cheese, whatever? Stuff that you like really enjoy reading and then writing, and stuff that you kind of put in there like just for yourself, for your own personal entertainment, I guess I would say.
Like anything that brings you joy. So
Yeah.
it might be for me, like, I really like a charcuterie board. So, like, a lot of my past stories, like, there's a charcuterie board somewhere. Like, if you're
Yes.
stuck in a story, you can refer back to writing, you can refer back to your id list. Because if you enjoy something, you're probably going to enjoy writing it. And then it might, like, spur your writing. So anything that was just, like, you really loved, that you put into the book.
I love Only One Bed. I swear about
a good one.
40% of this plot was built around getting Only One Bed in this book because I had to cut it from 4 Weekends because it didn't make sense. And I was like, why does it need to make sense? Like,
Because
why?
I want it.
Because they should
I
be in
want
one
it.
bed. Like it was like they were already dating. It was like, why would it be a big deal that there's only one bed? I'm like, because it's only one bed. So I ended up having to cut it from 4 Weekends. So I was like, I will, by hell or high water, we will get Only One Bed in here. So I was like, it's only one camper van. Like the whole
It's
plot
only
is
one-
only one bed, basically. Yeah. And now we've folded it down. It's now our only one bed. So that was honestly a huge part of it being a camper van was I just really wanted to trap them in only one bed constantly. And yeah, I think that's a big one.
What about the CW? Did you like any CW shows when you were younger? There was the
Yeah.
reference to that, and I was like, I wonder if Ellie has any like back in the day
do.
Vampire Diaries CW shows.
I will say, I think that the show that I took the most like inspiration from, the one that's like in my soul, is the OC, which is not a CW show.
Yes.
Should be. Same
Originally,
vibes.
I was like, oh, and then they're watching because I went, they're watching the OC, we're putting them in time. And like my editor was like, that is way too early. And I was like, well, they're watching DVDs. It's fine. Just like, why don't you pick a show they'd actually watch? And so I ended up with like, I think they watched Gossip Girl, which I thought worked too, because I felt like, of course, Laurel would be obsessed with Serena's chaos and like wanting to have that hair and the whole thing. So but I love a teen soap. Like I love Dawson's Creek. I love, I love them all. So I was excited to kind of bring that like teen soapy angsty energy into the early flashback chapters too.
That makes me so happy. I felt like that might have been your id list, and then even to like Ethan's whole like one hit wonder made it to like the show.
Oh, yeah. That's like to me, that's like classic OC lore, where it's like Death Cab for Cutie hates that they are known for that show,
California.
And Phantom Planet. That song was a real song before the OC. Like it came out like 6 months before the show, and they'll never escape it. Like I hear that song and I'm like, that's Ryan Atwood. That's Marissa.
I just see the intro of like them driving on the shoreline of like, what is that? Highway 1, Highway 7.
The 101.
It's beautiful, whatever.
The 101.
On the run, driving in the
The
sun.
101.
Driving down the 101.
What am I
Exactly
doing?
it.
Listen to the lyrics, Amber. Listen to the
Listen
lyrics.
close.
Listen close and I will tell you.
Yeah, and like the what you say being like an SNL thing. So I just thought that was like when I knew that he was going to be a musician, and like that was going to kind of take some ups and downs, and now he was this, this musician that was touring, because I had to give him a reason why it made sense to live in a van in the Midwest. So he's touring the college circuit, and there's a lot of liberal arts colleges out there that need a one hit wonder guy. So I just was like, I immediately thought like, oh my gosh, it'd be so funny if his only hit was like one of those like songs from the OC where like you can't even listen to the song anymore because you think of Marissa and Ryan's brother. Like you can't even listen. So I thought that would be really fun.
I thought that was really fun. And you know what came into my mind actually, like now that you say that, is I was thinking about like Rooney from the OC, where they played themselves like at their concert. And I was like, I don't think I've ever listened to any other Rooney songs except for the 2 that were on the OC. Nor did I know about them before that.
He's Michael Moskowitz from The Princess Diaries.
Incredible.
What?
Yes, the lead singer of Rooney plays Michael Moskowitz. The love interest in Princess Diaries, yeah.
I guess I'll have to watch that later tonight or tomorrow. Oh man.
Put it on.
You won't regret it.
I won't regret it.
He's playing like the piano with the M&Ms on it. That's him.
Oh my God.
Amazing. We want to read you some of our favorite quotes, if that's okay. And also, I just feel like you will appreciate this, fellow attorney, like my tabbed book. And I have, for those of you who are watching, I have one of the foil fun dust jackets that came from Content Books, right?
Yes, Content.
Yes. So she is so
love
gorgeous.
them.
Okay, so first line in the epilogue, the very first line of this book, I just loved it. Years from now, when I think back to the moment my husband left me for my rowing machine, I hope I forget I was holding a penis straw. Like, talk about attention grabbing, hilarious, but also like shit's going down. Like, my husband left me. Like, there is so much in that one sentence. Was that hard to write? Or did that come to you like very quickly?
So I wrote, that was one of my like 2 a.m. like things where I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, this should be and I didn't know what the thing would be that she was holding, but I knew it should be something that was funny. And also that was immediately representative of her life before him, like something that you would only have in your single life. You wouldn't have it in a marriage. And so I was like, I don't know, like a penis straw from a bachelorette party. I'll think of something better. I know I will. It was like a placeholder. And then I'm writing this book, and suddenly, like, it's load bearing. Like, it's now it's
character.
Absolutely.
Like, Tina Straw has depth.
Yeah, it's essential to the plot, and I'm like crying over a penis straw by the end of the book, and I'm like, how did I do this to myself? And then it became,
you.
That's what it was.
So good.
I love that so much. It is a load bearing penis straw. Also, I'm thinking of it, it's like,
holding up the whole
I
wall.
feel like there's so many ways that you could continue that joke, but I also really loved the line, also in the epilogue, in my mind, I eviscerate him. I call him every name. I tell him that I've been lying about his second toe and it doesn't look like a witch's knuckle. And I just feel like the little like quips that you put in here was so delightful. It was very bantery and just like, it was just very fun.
Yes. And then another one early on, chapter 1. I would lay down my life for this woman who says, whoopsie daisy. And that's a fact I'm forced to carry with me now. Like, just so funny. Like, I would be laughing out loud, Ellie. I feel like I could hear your voice throughout. It's so fun.
And then this one is about our favorite Petey. This is so unlike me. She knows it. I know it. But Petey, that sweet, hot dummy, doesn't. Couldn't agree more, he cheers.
Like what you were talking about earlier, Ellie. Like, he's just so sweet and lovely, but like, sometimes just
So
a
dumb.
hot dummy and just rolls with it.
I think at some point, I think like one of the earliest descriptions where I'm like, this is who he is to his core was like, I want to say I described him as like a ripped Kool-Aid man where he just like busts into the room and he's just like this hot hunky guy who just like doesn't know what's going on. Is like, hey guys, I'm here.
I just see that
And
old
just, like-
commercial, like boom.
Yeah. And I'm just like energetically that was like my god, like for I kind of do that with like these side characters where we don't have as much time with them. I like try and think of what is something where every time they're in the scene, what's like the most extreme thing about them that I can just like hold on to that makes sure that like this is going to be in their voice, they're going to feel distinct. And yeah, for him, it was like he is like hot guy Kool-Aid man. Like that's his energy in every scene.
It makes it so dynamic for him as a character. But like you said, even if he's not in the chapter a lot, or if you line, like they do a lot of work, like it makes him stand out.
I mean, we all know that guy that like walked into a party that like everybody cheered like when he came in and he was like, yo, like that's
not the douche.
exactly the
was
energy.
like friendly and lovely.
Yeah. The guy where you were excited he was there because you're like, oh, now it's going to be a party.
It's going to be fun
Petey's
now.
here.
Yeah,
The teddy bear golden retriever, just here we are.
Yeah.
Next one, chapter 6. They'll only know the person I'll let them know. But best friends get it all. Our best selves, our darkest versions, even when they never asked for it. I thought that was just like such a beautiful, raw, honest sentence about true best friends, right? Like any good relationship, whether sexual or not, or friends, like it isn't always going to be colorful and easy and bright, right? There's conflict in life. And if you're being truly vulnerable and letting them see you, I really like that line.
Yeah, I agree. In chapter 10, there's like a really, we're building up to like, more moments with Ethan, who has picked her up. And she says, Ethan, who is here for now, reaches for my hand. You can't let that guy, he swallows hard. Rich doesn't deserve to be the last person who's touched you. And like, I think one of the things that
I'm blushing.
She's blushing, you guys who aren't watching. Ellie's hiding behind her hands. Things are steaming up over here.
Yeah.
steam in the van windows. But
Titanic style.
Yes.
Ethan was so sweet, but specifically for Charlie. And I think that he like also had like his own opinions and like conviction. And I think sometimes like when you're writing like a sweet hero or that golden retriever, sometimes they just do like whatever, the other person wants. And I don't think that Ethan was like that at all, but it was very clear that like this, like the feelings were like very deep and like he was the way that he was like only with her. And that felt very special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chapter 14. This is another things are heating up in the relationship and Charlie's starting to like come to know her own feelings. Ethan's maybe the only man I've ever truly been myself with. Utterly transparent, no shields, no white lies to better package myself. Just me. He makes it safe to be me. When I read that, I just felt like it's hard to describe when you're in love or when you think you found your person, right? People always tell you like, you just know, because it's hard to describe. I always like told some friends, I was like, my husband it felt easy for once. And that's like more simplification. But Ellie, this is so beautiful. I just feel like, yeah, that's what it should be like. Because you're almost on interviews when you're dating, right? Like, how much can I show? Do you know me? Okay, I'll drop a little hint of my real personality, or how much can I really show that person? So I loved this raw, that like you're not hiding yourself and you can be safe and seen. And that feels so good when you have that in your relationships in your life. So I love that when Charlie has this moment. I'm like, yes, girl, lean into it. Follow it.
That was my favorite part of playing with friends to lovers. I know that's like a controversial trope. For me, what I find the riskiest part of friends to lovers, the most terrifying part is you are dealing with someone who really knows you. When you're dating, like you're saying, it's like an interview. There's so much of like presentation mode. And so when you're rejected, it can kind of feel like, well, they never even got to know me. Like, like the rejection, it can bounce off you a little bit. But with like a best friend, if they are entering the relationship knowing your truest self, like, and then that can, you're setting yourself up for true rejection there. And I think that is the part that is really vulnerable for Charlie in this book, as someone who really struggles with that. But also what, to me, I find so compelling about that trope in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I
good.
think especially like the childhood piece too, like we all did dumb shit when we were younger, and they were witness to like you being really cringy and you making poor choices, or, like all of those things. And so like they really have been like front row to like all of those things that you could easily not tell somebody, that you met as an
Ever.
adult ever. Yeah. You would
Write
take
that
that
in
to
the
your
past.
grave. Right. Exactly.
Yes.
In chapter 16, there's a really cute moment. And I think it also like shows like a cute voice and everything with Charlie. Loving people is so unbearable. I whine, inhaling the scent of his neck like it's an aromatherapy candle. He laughs into my head and his exhalations ruffle my hair. I know, honey. And it was just very cute.
So cute. Like she's seen and kind of just like, oh, this is so hard. He's like, I know. Like just
Vulnerability.
seeing her and
Ugh.
placating her, like,
Yeah.
it is. It is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, chapter 17. I'm serious. I'll take any shred of you you'll give me. It wouldn't have to mean anything, I swear. He lifts his thumb to my cheek and swipes at a tear. Just tell me what you want, Chuck. I can't stand it anymore. Please put me out of my misery. I was like cheering into my book and the audio. I'm like, give it to him, Chuck. Tell him what you want.
No, it was so good. And then just all those moments. Well, it's like this one time and it's a rebound and wanting someone to want you like for you and not just be you're in a weird place and I'm here. And I think that was also like a really good tension, a load-bearing tension wall, if you will say.
Help
And
me
then in
hold up the
chapter
penis straw. They were
I know
both
the
doing
penis
their
straw.
job.
Yes.
The penis straw needed a little extra.
Yeah.
And I think you did such a good job, like with the buildup of like what happened at the bachelorette party. And in chapter 21, I felt like there was like really good, like I was like biting my nails at this point where he's essentially like confessing like what actually happened and like his side of the story. The look in his eyes strips me bare. I couldn't go to your wedding because it was you. It was your wedding to a guy who wasn't me. Like, oh my gosh.
Cards are on
Just-
the table, Charlie. They're
Yeah.
laid there for you.
Exactly. So, which you kind of felt like that was like what it was building to, but it was a very good payoff for that.
Speaking of all these tender moments and satisfying character arcs, what is your character development process? Do you have one, or do they just kind of come to you? Like, everyone is so different. It's always so interesting to get a little peek behind the curtain for the Wizard of Oz telling the story.
I think each book is really different, for me at least, where some like the characters come first and then I sort of form the plot around the character. And then other ones like the plot comes first. I kind of have an idea of like a premise that would be that I would like to write. And then I kind of think about like who would fold into that. But I think the thing that holds it all together is I really like the plot to be this character's worst nightmare. And so it helps
make it
that-
worse.
Make it worse. So where if someone like for Charlie, she is someone who really is like she wants control so badly and she wants stability so badly. So to put her in the situation where it's like completely chaotic and she's with this person who can't give her this thing she's sure she wants and needs really helped, where every single scene in this road trip just like preyed upon those weaknesses and like forced her to grow, which made it a lot easier to write because I'm not thinking constantly about like, and how am I going to shoehorn her character arc into this? It kind of comes together more organically that way. And then with my book that I have coming out this summer, Married with Benefits, the main character just like really is like a lone wolf who really struggles with like allowing other people to help her and trusting people is a really big issue for her. So the whole premise is that the only solution to her problems is to marry this guy she doesn't really know or like that well. And so that every single thing they do is just like it's crashing into each other over and over again. And to me, that always makes for kind of natural conflict and like that it kind of keeps the stakes the whole time like really high, because it's something where we're always dealing with this person's like fear, and like the way they're lying to themselves just keeps coming to a head over and over again without me having to really work too hard, because I love to work smarter, not harder. So
Yeah. Or
that's sort of how I usually do them.
Be more relaxed then for at least the free writing phase, right? You kind of already have that character sketch in your mind because you know it's the opposites and the conflicts. So then you kind of already have that voice of like, I'm going to put this in this situation. Oh, they would react this way because I'm a lone wolf. It makes me think of the line. What is that line from? Oh my God, I'm thinking of the movie The Hangover. Where like, I need my wolf
I'm a
pack.
wolf pack of one.
When you said lone
wolf pack of one.
I'm a wolf pack of one.
Yeah, that girl's a wolf pack of one.
Yep.
She's an agent of chaos. Yeah. So that was one where with Married with Benefits, the plot came first. It was a lot of like, what are some tropes that would be fun to play with? I would love to do.
Everything has to be around the van life.
Yeah, everything has to be the van life. And it was like, I really wanted for Married with Benefits to play with marriage of convenience and make it like really grounded. And what would really make two strangers marry each other? What really make this happen? Because it's insane. Doesn't make sense. But it does now. So then like the characters of like, who would this really be, who would be a lot of trouble in this particular plot? Like that kind of came second. And with Anywhere With You, I feel like the characters came a little bit sooner before the plot was all ironed out. Like I knew like, other than I'm like, they're in a van. It was like the characters themselves. And I was like, okay, well, what could they be doing that would cause issues here? So that kind of is how that one unraveled.
So we have just like two quick little games that we wanted to play with you.
Little surprise games.
Amber is going to ask you a little this or that.
We made this up today when we were planning the podcast, and it sounded fun. So these are just 5 little prompts of either situations or items that came from the book. So you'll have to decide which one. So I'm calling it this or that. Are you ready?
I am.
Would you do a truck stop shower or a composting toilet if you had to choose this or that?
Truck stop shower all day long. I had to do research for truck stop showers. They're actually quite nice.
Okay.
They're nice and they're clean.
Quick Trip too, which is very Midwest in the book, and those technically are very nice big gas stations.
Agreed.
So, okay.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I had to fully fictionalize the shower to make it gross, because I was like, no, every single one I've looked into, lovely. I'd happily shower.
This is not working with the plot I wanted. What is this?
I may not have enjoyed the van life, but I am fine with truck stop showers.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep in the back pocket if we ever have like, I also have a young son. So like sometimes accidents happen in the car and you're like, where do we need to go? Truck stop shower.
A turnpike shower. Those are like pristine.
Who knew? Look at the things we're learning with this and that. Okay. A big house in the burbs with absolutely no furniture, or a furnished and organized camper van to live in.
I think it would have to be a furnished and organized camper van. I do think the one that I describe in the book is a lot nicer than the one that I stayed in. I used kind of the smallest one I could pay for. A big empty house in the suburbs I find just inherently creepy. I would think there's a ghost there. Sad, cold, yeah. I don't think I could handle it. Like, I think I would have to do what she does in the book, where it's like I'd have to move any piece of furniture into one room.
I love
so like at least
fridge.
One room felt full.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe it'd be the other way, but that makes sense with kind of if it was that organized and bigger van. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather have a flower tattoo or a Khaleesi tattoo with your husband's name under it? This is my Khaleesi.
Khaleesi did not hold up. I have a flower tattoo, so I would keep that. Yeah.
Okay, easy. I mean, we figured, but it was just too funny. I'm like, there's 2 tattoos in here. We have to put it on. Okay. A barn party or camping in the Boundary Waters?
I mean, I think now it would be camping in the Boundary Waters, but the barn party experience is based on my own college's barn party, which was just like, there was no greater time when you were like 20. Like,
time
what
of
was
your
better?
life.
Time of your life. I'm like, there's all, it was just like we would, pull up to this farm with like a barn that we were renting from, not my nefarious individual who was letting all
A
these
notorious
underage
farmer.
drink.
Old
and
Farmer
then
Joe, he'll always let us
Yeah.
use that back 40 for our
he
shenanigans.
he looks the other way. It's fine. And so, yeah, and
As
then
long as we give him some beer, he'll be good.
he was, easy payment. And so, yeah, and it was just, there's nothing better than that. I feel like that was so fun. But now I can't roll that way anymore. So I think it would be camping in the Boundary Waters.
Okay.
And it's beautiful.
Oh, so beautiful. Very nice. Okay, last one, because for those of you listening, Ellie and I are both attorneys, and there's two terms that come up in the book: rule against perpetuities or adverse possession.
Adverse possession, and that folds beautifully
I
into
know,
my next
I
book.
mean,
Has a
that's-
huge adverse possession plot line.
I kind of set this up for you. If you can't
Yes.
tell, it's the last one. And like, really, what's adverse possession and married with benefits? Tell us more.
Yes, I like adverse possession is like my weird fixation from
It is
law
the
school. I think
golden
a lot
goose
of people.
of legal term when you go to law school.
It's
golden
it's
egg.
the one. It sounds the most exciting when you're reading the hypotheticals. You're just like, I would love to run into this in practice, and you never do. It's not a thing that really happens, and so it's like like the closest you get is like someone's fence line is over, and that's adversely possessing part of someone else's property, and open and notorious. The legal terms of like it being something where everyone seems to have availed themselves to this trespass over the course of like 10 years, but the whole just basically squatting in a person's home for 10 years and then it becoming your home, which is the thing that we all read and we're like, this is incredible. People are out here doing this. People aren't. They just simply, it's just not, they're not doing
There is
that.
this small chance of certain facts that if all found to be true, there is a law out there called adverse possession that it could happen.
That could be your way into home ownership if you're
Well, in this
concerned.
environment, might be more realistic than the traditional options.
Oh my God.
With like interest rates, like why don't you just try squatting for 10 years and see what happens? So that's that's sort of the premise.
No one is giving legal advice on this podcast.
No, that is not legal advice. Don't do that. It won't
do
work
that.
well for you. But yeah, but I did write a book where it did work well. So the Married with Benefits, that comes out this summer, and the premise of that is there is this like kind of starving artist who has about like 10 jobs where she's just trying to scrape by. She has been living in this house, this like cabin in the woods, this sort of like architecturally quirky cabin for a long time. And it turns out that it doesn't belong to her. And she doesn't realize this. She believed that she inherited it, but someone else inherits it. And then it becomes this issue where she technically owns the house, but she doesn't own the surrounding property. The surrounding property was willed to this out-of-towner who is an architecture buff and is really into her house and wants to rent it out. And so in order for them both to get what they need, she also is suffering from a chronic migraine condition. Her medication is incredibly expensive. This is based in reality. There are so many medications for chronic illnesses and chronic migraines that are just like
$1 million.
absurdly expensive.
Insanely expensive.
Prohibitively expensive. So she is having trouble paying for medication. And so then he offers her some better health care if they marry each other. And in exchange, he gets some access to her home so that he can rent it out and fulfill his like Hallmarkian dream of being an innkeeper. Because he's, I feel like anyone who has burnout has decided they should run an inn, like in Hallmark.
Oh my God,
And so
yes.
he too is, fallen victim to this notion. So yeah, and then, now they're trapped together, and it would be very inconvenient on top of everything, since they're planning to get divorced in, 6 months, for them to fall in love with each other.
But wouldn't it be great? Maybe we'll have to find out.
Wouldn't it be so fun?
Wouldn't
Because
it
they're
be so
stuck in a
fun?
house together. So yeah,
I'm
so
so
there's
excited
also like
about
those
this.
renovations, and it's like we're renovating in the woods. We're in small town Wisconsin. We get all of like the fun quirks where they're at like the VFW hall and like
Incredible.
There's like
Fish
the
fry on a
locals.
Friday.
It's fish fry, yeah. You're getting all of it. So you're eating just cheesy potatoes out of a trough. It's the
curds
best.
for days.
Curds for days.
Curds for
cheese.
days. Put that
Quick
on
They're
a
a little
Trip
box.
meals.
squeaky
Quick Trip
when you
also
eat
gets a
them at the gas
reference.
station.
Yeah.
Maybe they can be your unofficial sponsor for your like Midwest book tour.
The way I am trying to get a sponsor, so far I've lucked out. So I have referenced Caribou in the two books that I have out right now, and then I was able to finagle a Caribou ambassadorship. where they pay me in
Amazing. That
coffee.
is goals.
So that's been
I
fun.
mean,
And then
any author wants an ambassadorship, it'd be coffee. I mean,
yes. And then my other claim to fame is I make an off-color joke about Halo Top in Anywhere with
Yeah,
You.
you do.
And I thought nothing of it. I was like, this is a universal truth. It'll be funny. It'll be fine. And Halo Top reached out to my publisher and was like, we heard Ellie Palmer does not care for Halo Top. We would love to change her mind. And they sent me all of their new flavors. And I was like, this is the best way this could have gone. This could have gone in a very different direction.
Sure. I was also getting very nervous for you. Like,
no. They did not take legal action against me, which I really appreciate, because now I'll sing their praises, honestly, and I'm not lying. They were great. Their new flavors, their mix-ins are delicious. I had a great time with that. So, but that's sort of been my time. Yeah, that's been my brush with sponsorship. So now I'm working the quick trip angle. I talk about how great the food is.
Yeah.
And their truck stop showers. We talk about how big and
showers.
clean they are. I'm not gonna lie, every time my in-laws have a cabin that's north of Minnesota, and we have to drive through Duluth, and on the north side of Duluth, like right before we do like side roads, there's this beautiful, brand new, huge Quick Trip. And it's always like, if we need to stop, we're stopping here. The bathrooms are good if you need snacks or whatever. But it's always like, everybody get ready, now or never. It's like, you come up over the hill and it's like, the Quick Trip.
I try to explain to people who have no interaction with the Midwest. I'm like, it's kind of like a grocery store.
It is.
Meets a gas station, meets like kind of like a pretty decent
store.
deli. Like it's so bizarre.
And you
but it's
don't
like it's
think
such a beautiful
the food's
place.
gonna be good, but it is.
It's kind of like
the food
out here on the East Coast. Sheetz is pretty popular. And I would say like Sheetz and Quick Trip are probably, I've been to both, and I think that they're probably pretty similar. Sheetz actually has like really good food, and you can also get my favorite Swedish gummies there.
Sheets, it has to go on the to-do.
Sheetz, is pretty good. And then everyone out here loves Wawa. So again, kind of similar, really nice bathrooms, legitimate food.
When you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there is in Married with Benefits, there is like a gas station war between two different gas stations. I feel like that is a small town Wisconsin thing where it's like you all choose the one you go to. But I did not have either of those be Quick Trip because I'm like, I will not defame Quick Trip. I am working this angle too hard. And so
I have to play a little
out
coy,
of town Quick
you know?
Trip. That's great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we can't immediately, offend someone that I'm working so hard to bring into my clutches.
Be my best friend, Quick Trip.
Oh my God.
That's what this all is. And that's what writing is to me. I'm just like trying to all I want is like free bacon egg sandwiches. Like that's all I'm looking for out of this.
I mean, simple, brilliant, beautiful.
I hope you get it. I hope you get that like little clear plastic bag of cheese curds with like the little red twist tie from the refrigerated area.
They squeak.
Like I hope
May
it
they
comes
forever
to you.
squeak.
We will forever
I
squeak.
know.
over
It'll make
cheese.
it all worth it.
So good in chili though. Like cheese curds are the best thing to put in chili. Not shreds. Curds.
I've never done that. I have to do that.
Ellie, what are you doing this fall? You have to do that. It's so good.
Thank you so much for playing our first episode of This or That.
Yes,
we appreciate your participation.
I do have a quick rapid fire question. And because we know you're a big reality TV buff and we really enjoy all of your commentary that you have on social media as well, you are doing the Lord's work. I want to know what reality shows your characters would be on, like rapid fire. So Ethan, what show would he be on?
Survivor. He
Okay,
would
agreed.
totally do that. Like I'm watching Survivor 50 right now. He would fit in beautifully.
What about Charlie?
I think she would think she could do the Amazing Race. And I think she would find that she is not a
She
good
would not
partner.
succeed.
She would be too bossy and she would immediately freak out when the plan didn't go appropriately. I think that
I would watch that episode.
I would watch it
Yeah,
too.
she would think that she's perfect for it though. Would be the fun part.
What about Laurel? Are they doing Amazing Race together?
And then just yelling at each
God.
other.
No, I think Laurel is self-aware enough to know that they shouldn't do that together. I think I could see Laurel doing in a different version of her life, she's on Vanderpump Rules.
I love that.
Like
Yeah,
she is
Incredible.
in the version of her life where she moved to WeHo, like right after college. She's like a hostess there and is like, I thought this would be
She's at Sir.
fun. Like, this happened.
God.
She's at Sir. She's like, I don't think she's in the drama. I think she's the one everyone's crying at, where she's like, what am I doing here? But then she is, but she's loves to party, so that would be part of it.
She's like just eating the goat cheese balls like in the break room, and they're like, so and so.
She's in the Sir alley,
in the bathroom, and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's crying. She's drunk and crying in the Sir alley, like wondering how she got there and saying that she wants to go see her boyfriend who's a hockey player in like Canada. Like that's what she's crying about.
And they're like, sure, Laurel, sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of the hot hockey player, what about Petey? What would he be on?
Petey, well, like, let's pretend that his hockey career like really takes off. And then I think he would be on like, maybe he's on Trader.
Oh, okay.
He could be on like normal traders. Like he'd be like, because they're doing a civilian season. He could do civilian traders. I think Charlie would also think she's good at that and be terrible at it.
Yeah. I could also honestly kind of see PD like on like The Bachelor. Like if he like makes it big, like, in a sports career, or like even if he's mid, they do love like a mediocre professional
athlete.
Yeah.
They love a practice team guy.
They do. Yeah. Like a backup kicker, something like that. Yeah. What about Rich, our ex Rich?
Love is blind.
Love is blind.
Oh my gosh.
That is what Amber said. That's exactly what Amber said.
It's not him, but so this was during COVID, season 2. Do you remember Shane?
Yes.
The big eyes and like felt, oh my God. Like they're just the gift that kept giving.
Shane. He went on Perfect Match later. Like he didn't leave. Yeah. He dated, I'm going to lose her name, but she was British and she was like big in like, she's big in Netflix. Like she was like in the Too Hot to Handle, The Circle. She was on a bunch of those shows. Okay. And she's just like this little sweetie. And he dated
her. Personality different off camera? It has to be. Because was that a show? Like every time he was like his laugh, I could not handle his laugh.
No, I think that has to be him. Like at some point, you just are who you are.
Yeah, and I guess it works. You know what? There's someone out there for everybody.
That's right.
I can't wait for him to find his true love. I look forward to that.
And then it'll probably be televised on a different reality show.
He'll find a way.
Oh my God, I love that.
Okay, and then last one from Anywhere With You, Wet Ted. What reality show is he
was
going
a
on?
unique character.
He was.
Wet Ted will be The Bachelor.
Okay.
Like he will go on The Bachelor and then he will be chosen to be The Bachelor because like he's one where he kind of snuck up on me where I'm like, who is this guy? What's his deal? And every time I I would like revise one of the chapters he was in, I would just like add more weird details about him where I'm just like, I don't know, maybe he's like this. Like I just had a lot of fun with having this sort of like the idea of it being like you're stranded in the middle of the woods and like your guide is just like confusingly hot and just like why are you here, the juxtaposition. So I had a fun time with like what does this like really like just absolutely like remarkably hot man doing in this space and like why is he here.
And we didn't learn a lot, but each little like new information, like one stuck out to me when like he gets injured. And there's a certain part about his injury and someone's like, oh, well, they said he used to do ballet. So maybe that's why. I was like, oh my God, Hot Ted did ballet? What do those quads look like? I'm like, tell me more about his ballet career and why is he doing this now?
I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, he was like a model, but I'm like, he lived in like New York for like 10 years and like he had a whole life there. Like it's just like,
he had a whole, so now he's pivoting. I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, and he's like a cat. He always lands on his feet. He's like, oh, that's not working. Okay, I'll do this. And so he was like, I had my own Wet Ted fanfic constantly going where I'm like, what's he up to?
I love that. He'll get a book down the road.
Do you think
he's like, well, he's the kind of character where I could see him showing up in a future book just because I just am weirdly obsessed with him.
No, I would love. And he really has a background. Cameo. He has a background that's so versatile. Like he could show up anywhere, anytime. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think that he would like propose to somebody on his season of The Bachelor, or do you think like his time to shine would really be on like BIP?
I think he would. I I think he like wouldn't propose to anyone, and he would somehow finagle it where we wouldn't hate him. Where he would be like,
Yeah.
where we would be like, it was the right move. He was being responsible.
Yeah, like it wasn't meant to be.
It was like
He was
if it doesn't work, it
respectful.
doesn't work. Like I think
He's
he
now gonna be a
would
bachelor in
like he would
paradise.
somehow find a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, on those like beds in Bachelor in Paradise, like you just are learning more about like Ted's weird life that he's had. Like that's so random with the iguanas in the background.
And it all sounds fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are you working on now? If you can tell us any details. We know sometimes depending on where you're at and contracts, you may not be able to tell us, but if you can tell.
Yeah, I have my first paranormal book comes out next winter.
Yay.
And I'm working on revising that right now. Yeah, that's a marriage in trouble where the wife accidentally becomes a vampire, as one does. It happens to the best
These
of
times
us.
are
It
trying,
does.
so
Can't blame her.
What would you do? Yeah, so she accidentally becomes a vampire, and this already kind of fledgling marriage is now on. There's even more pressure on it because now he has to help her murder people ethically, only bad people, and cover it up in this small town where people are starting to catch wise. Meanwhile, there's like kind of a rival paranormal figure that's also there. They have to figure out how to stop.
That sounds so good. I cannot wait.
Yeah, so that one's really fun. If you like the show Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix and you like Fargo,
Same.
yeah, it's sort of like we're going to combine those two. It takes place in northern Minnesota where there's actually a lot of darkness. So that was very helpful geographically, but it was also fun to add in like that kind of like Fargo-esque setting. So that was fun.
I love Santa Clarita Diet. It was such a good show.
Yeah. And
when you started writing, you were obviously like working full time. Like, how did you fit it in? Like with your work, parenting, like other life stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an answer anyone likes. I get up very early.
I am one of
That's
the people when I
unfortunate.
learned that about you. I was like, oh, cool.
That stinks. Yeah, no, unfortunately, that's what it is. I can't, if I could do things at night, I would do it at night. But I cannot function after like 7 p.m. I'm done. I need
The
to
brain
watch
is
TV,
fried.
go to bed.
Yeah.
I have reality television to watch. Like I have
right.
my friends to keep up with.
You have plans.
I have things to do. So yeah, it's a lot. I get up at like 5 and I write until my household wakes up, and then I kind of go about my work day. It is nice because then it's sort of like it's done. I don't have it looming over my head all day long. And it's and also like I get like FOMO where like there are other things to do at night and I'm missing out on it. Whereas in the morning it feels like the world hasn't woken up yet. So like what could I possibly be missing? And I think that the judgmental part of my brain wakes up at 9. And so in the morning I can like do things and I'm just like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be great. And then at like 9 a.m., that's when the part of me that's like, that's not funny enough. That's not good enough. I'm like, well, you weren't awake yet, so you didn't get a say.
We don't want you here anyway.
We don't care what you think.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I do it.
I'm going to try to channel you more when Patrick is back. Like right now, it's just hard because, I'm solo parenting a 4-year-old, but I can do it. I'm used to getting up early by myself now all the time, just without Patrick. So when he gets back,
Well,
I'll
and
have
like
help. I can just like do things too.
Yeah, and Google Docs, like you can do things on your phone a lot. Like, sometimes like things will come to you in the car. So like I love a voice note. I love kind of letting things come to me throughout the day and jotting them down and kind of dealing with it all the next day.
Instead of just only doing it when you have your butt in a seat at a desk, what we envision. Like that's just not always capable in our world. So I love that. What is your most underrated advice for writers or aspiring authors, or at least a unique piece of advice that you feel like has really helped you?
I think, give yourself permission to do something else. If you are having a hard time, I get this way about myself where when I am in writing mode and something's not really working and I can feel like this scene's going to get cut. This isn't really what it should be. This isn't the final version. I sometimes feel like I have to muscle through or else like, I'm not being productive or I'm not, not like working through it. And I find that when I muscle through, like I might get something down that is workable to some degree, and then I'll figure out a way to fix it later. But most of the time, if I just like stop doing it and go for a walk, or like let myself like read or do something else that kind of like lets my brain like forget about it for a second, I end up figuring out what wasn't working faster, rather than just trying to like force myself to muscle through a chapter that just simply isn't coming together.
That makes sense. Letting your brain kind of figure it out in the back burner. Yeah.
And it's things you've heard before, but I think sometimes in the moment, or at least for me, right? Like we're all so busy and there's things to do. And I'm always like, yeah, I should take that walk or whatever. But I need to do a better job of like, no, it works. Like you can take 10 minutes. Like it doesn't need to be, again, this like 2-hour ordeal and come back and go to the mailbox, walk around the block, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I think the reason why I would like give yourself permission is like, I feel like it's like, you know, these things, but like divorce yourself from the feeling that like you're in trouble with yourself.
That's
Take a
it.
break.
That
Where you're
is.
like, we're like you can like take a break, but it's like, but that's like a penalty. Like I made a mistake. It's like like allow yourself to believe it's part of it, rather
of
than
the
it being
process.
like I made a mistake and now I must take a break as punishment.
I'm in the naughty corner.
I'm in the naughty corner when I come back. Because then I feel like it's like, okay, well, the more valiant thing to do in this moment would be to be just keep typing, even though like I know these two characters are in the wrong place, they're doing the wrong thing, they're talking about the wrong stuff right now. But you know, it's like that. It feels wrong in the moment to be like, I'm just gonna stop doing it because I know it's wrong, rather than, you know, like if I was truly a writer, I would force myself to keep
I would
writing.
have an epiphany in the dark
Yes.
hours
I
would write through
when
it, yes.
when it hurts the most.
I would write through it. Yeah.
Yes. That's really good
That
advice.
sounds
And yeah, just like
miserable.
gentle
Let's not
reminders.
do that anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, just, I love following the rules. I love, you know, an order of operations. But yeah, like, I think just reminding yourself, like, the rules are actually like all made up. And so if it's not working, it's fine. Just try something else, you know?
We're making up people in our head. Like, it's like we can do whatever we want.
I
We
need
can.
the meme of Ross going, pivot.
Yeah.
Ross tells me I can pivot and just
That's
do
right.
something else quickly.
Ellie, thank you so much for joining us today and talking about one of the books that we really love, Anywhere with You, which is available everywhere now. Can you tell everyone where we can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Ellie Palmer Writes. And you can find me at elliepalmerwrites.com. And I have all of like my event information on there and some cool like fun things like a Anywhere with You playlist or all sorts of cute stuff.
We love a playlist.
Quick question. This is for me personally. I just want to know, do you have a release party plan for Marriage with Benefits? Do you know like when and where? Or maybe you can't release that yet.
I think it's going to surprise no one. It will be with Tropes and Trifles again. 3 years in a row. I mean,
cool.
things could shake out
Change,
in a
right.
different way. We, you know, this is a moving thing, but that's so far that's what I you know, we're planning and what would be really fun, and maybe a couple of other stops along the way. We'll see.
Cool. Well, anybody who's local or in the Minneapolis area, I will plan to be there. And Ellie and I are both really cool, so you should make sure to hit up that event.
Normal.
We're the coolest. We're not weird at all. Not at all. Do we want to end with a quick happy ending from each of us? Everybody deserves a happy ending. We have a water feature in our backyard that is like decrepit and old, and it's just been there since we bought the house. And it's always been like a goal to like either fix it up or change it or like move it because I like to garden. But with Patrick coming back, I thought it would be like a cool surprise. But I met with like a landscape architect that specializes in waterfalls, and it is like crazy what they can do. So he was just so lovely. We're waiting the quote, but it just felt really good to like something positive from this experience and maybe getting a little like oasis in our backyard. So that is my like happy ending for the week. So maybe I'll get like a new little waterfall in my backyard. Stay tuned.
That sounds so soothing.
Right? Like come relax. Like we'll
It's
just
going to be awesome.
Yeah.
have a little beverage out there. It's going to be delightful.
I think mine would be, so my son, he started doing an acting class and he had his performance, and
Oh my gosh, little
I am
Mike.
like, in my soul, I always knew that I would be a like deeply competitive stage mother. I just have like dance mom energy. And
I prepared for this my whole life.
and he stole the show. And I was like, I knew that my talents would come to play once. So I'm just grateful that he actually enjoys the thing I wanted him to enjoy.
I love
my gosh.
this.
Because
It's like winning the
nothing's worse than
lottery.
forcing a child to be a theater star when they hate it. So I'm very happy that he like had so much fun doing it and just like really enjoyed it and did great. And then now I can really come into my own as a problematic stage mother.
Your
who's
destiny,
forcing my
one might
child, like,
say.
my destiny.
Yeah.
Just like forcing him out there with like he's like has a flu, and I'm like, no, dance. Do your
Spraying
solo,
like
kid.
spritz water in his face. Like, you're
Yeah.
fine. Go out.
Yeah, the agents are here.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I love that you always knew that you're like, this, I am going to be that mom, and now you get to be. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I was like a theater kid and I was a figure skater. And so I really put him into skating early because I was like, I was born to be a rink mom. Like, this is going to be so
This
good.
is my first attempt.
He hated it. What he loved doing was he loved laying on the ice rink and making snow angels. Like, he loved that aspect of
That
it.
sounds majestic and
Yeah.
lovely.
And I was like, and then everyone's like, oh, it's so nice that he's having fun. I'm like, yeah, it's so nice he's having fun. It'd be great if he stood up. Like, that'd be great.
You're just like, is it great though?
great if he
Is it?
Yeah, I was like, it would be nice if he applied himself in this skating lesson. And so we quickly knew that was not going to be his path forward as an Olympian. And so it's nice that one of these things have panned out for me personally, along with his interests.
So you're already planning like what you're gonna wear to the Oscars.
Yeah.
when he's nominated, and obviously you will be his plus one because like
Yes.
you've been the stage mom, like well
Exactly.
I
deserved.
believe it's important to manifest things for your children that they don't even know they want yet.
Yeah, I love
Help
that.
them.
So I am out there I am preparing for, my time to shine off stage on Broadway.
That's right.
I
Oh my
love it.
gosh, I love that so much.
Allie, that's a hard act to follow.
It
Good
is.
luck.
I'm just very grateful for my parents this week. They're always really helpful, but we've been having like a really busy last like 6 weeks or so. And just, I don't know, Mercury is retrograding and like I'm just really feeling it right now. And it's just been like very stressful and challenging. And they've been so helpful. And I'm sure that like Scout, my diabetic border collie, is so happy to have them over all the time because he gets extra belly rubs and
Grandma and grandpa time.
that's right. And, he's very smart. So he figures out really quick that, they're not really going to enforce the rules like mom and dad are. So we're unlearning some things again, but overall, I'm very grateful to them. So that's my happy ending. Just having that support.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, Ellie, thank you again so much for joining us. This was a delightful conversation, and we can't wait for Married with Benefits because it's going to be a good time. We all need to manifest Quick Trip sponsorship, so everybody get on it. Tag Quick Trip on all of your social media. We need to make this happen. But Smut and Sensibility is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We are also now on like iHeart and a couple of other platforms, Amazon Music as well. And like I said, we do have a newsletter. Link for that is in the bio. It's on Substack. And yeah, so we really appreciate you guys listening and giving us a 5-star review and interacting with us. Amber, do you want to sign us off?
I do. Thank you, everyone. Go in pursuit of your happily ever after. And most importantly, stay smutty, everyone. Bye.